Hey everybody, welcome back to my layout. This will be a layout update for November 2020. I've got a couple pieces of new rolling stock to show you guys, as well as some layout progress, including pouring the resin for the 40 Mile Creek river crossing, and a small section of wood ties within the long concrete tie section at Divide. So let's take a look at what's new on the layout. So some new rolling stock that came in over the past month. I had ordered these quite a while ago. These are the Scaletrains, the new ones, Greenbrier Gunderson Multimax Autoracks. And I got them in the 3 Canadian paint schemes that they did. So you can get the red CN noodle, the new CP block letter, they're white, and the white CN noodle over there. Really nice cars from Scaletrains. Pricey, so I only got 3. This is the packaging they come in. This is their, I guess that's upside down. This is their rivet counter line. Packaging for the red CN logo. Really nice cars. They're different than the Intermountains in that the aluminum paneling is not see-through. I'm told that's actually prototypical though. These new Autoracks, you can't see through them at all. So we'll roll these past the camera, we'll take a close look at them. They've got the roller bearing caps, which is nice. They come with a spare set, which I like that Scaletrains does that. So let's take a close look at the sides of these Gunderson Autoracks from Scaletrains. Here's a quick look at the door ends. Really nice cars from Scaletrains. I haven't had a chance to run them around the layout because the main line's still down, so they haven't made a full trip around the layout yet. But one thing I did notice, this the brake cylinder here, and I think it's some other kind of brake apparatus or something there on this CP car. Holy cow, is it low to the ground? Like that thing. It's almost at the same height as the railhead. So luckily it doesn't. This one doesn't catch on any of my crossings, but holy smokes, is that close? Zoom in so you can see there. Maybe a millimeter, maybe half a millimeter of clearance there between that piece of the brake rigging and the railhead. So here's another one, the CN with the red logo, and same thing. Like it is. This one might be a millimeter on this one. So maybe that car is a one-off, the CP there, but holy smokes, this is close. So that might be an issue for some people, you know, depending on what your track works like. You know, if you've got no clearance stuff, but I haven't even ran these around the layout yet, so I can't really even speak to it if mine is good enough. You know, I might be catching on the re-railers or something in staging, so something to watch out for. You know, it'd be a pretty simple fix. I would just cut that piece of detail right off, because if they cause issues, I get rid of it. I'd rather have them run good than you know, have an extra little piece of detail like that. Like, it's cool that they've got those on there and they look good, but if it starts catching on stuff, it's gonna go. So in addition to those Autoracks, I had some of these Rapido Trains 53-foot high cube 2-packs come in. So they did a few different paint schemes here, so I thought this one was cool. Western Canada Express. Kind of fits my layout well. They must have had some issues with the glue on this packaging because these ones are all falling apart when they arrived, but not a big deal. They're still in good shape. They've got the carrier, I believe it's a heater at the one end. So these are all modern kind of paint schemes. The new CN. So those are something's going on with these. The glue was a little bit too watered down at the factory. Gray CP block. All the same with the carrier heater at the end. Large CP block. So these are some of the newest ones that you see on CP. And my favorite Maritime Ontario ones. You see these all the time. So some nice new 53-foot containers from Rapido. Look forward to getting those going on my intermodal trains. So one other thing I got that's not rolling stock related, and shout out to Gregg from Fishplate Films for demonstrating this little guy. This is the War World Scenics Precision Pro Grass Applicator. Tiny little static grass applicator. Pretty straightforward. You put a 9-volt battery in here, and the idea is it's so small that you're able to, really just do a small, tiny little area that you want to get and not get static grass absolutely all over the place, which is the problem I have with the bigger knock unit. So I have tried it out a little bit and I do like it, but it really is for small areas. Like you can only put a small clump like the size of the end of your thumb in there, you can see. And you can't fill it up too much or it doesn't come out at all because it's packed. So yeah, you can't, the volume, it takes a lot of times to refill it. Definitely don't want to be using it if you're covering a large area. But I think it'll come in handy if you have to go back and touch up a section. And you can just, really be precise about where you get the static grass. So far it's been good. Shipped right from the UK. And it was, I think it was 120 bucks or something. Like it wasn't outrageous. The stuff that usually comes across the ocean. But yeah, nice little tool. Shout out to Gregg for showing me that guy and demonstrating it. So that's it for new stuff, guys. So let's take a look at what I've been working on the layout over the past month. And the first thing here, it's really small, little detail. I had intended on doing way back when I first laid the track, and I forgot to do it. So I left myself a note here with Sharpie, which is what kind of how I send messages to myself in the future on this layout. And just one day, with the main line's already down right now, so it's not really an issue of stopping the trains from running or something. So I thought, well, I'll tackle this project at the same time. So this is a prototypical little section of wood ties on the CP leg and sub right at this spot. So we're right. The signals of divider just to the right here, and there is a section, and you can even look it up on Google Earth. It's literally 14 wood ties in a row. Have no idea what happened or why they ended up doing that, but it's there on the real thing, and it's prototypical for the era that I'm modeling, which is 2010 to 2020-ish. So pretty straightforward. I used my Dremel to just cut out the section of concrete. Again, if I would have been smart, I would have just done this when I was laying track, but I just missed it and it slipped through and I just ended up laying concrete right through here. So Dremeled it out, got a new section of wood ties, code 83, and I was lucky that there was already a set of feeders right here, so I didn't really have to, like this was a natural joint, so I only had to make an extra joint on this side, and all I did was just solder the joiners here on this side carefully, and we've got a set of feeders going to both these sections here. So kind of a neat little prototypical detail. It's highly visible if you have seen it or you look at Google Earth. You really can see the contrast between the concrete ties and the wood. So I thought it was cool to include that, and it's a good conversation piece. There's kind of how it fits in on the bigger picture. You can see the concrete ties prototypically end at the turnout here at divide on the real thing. And they run, there's just a little section of concrete ties, not even a mile, that runs from the turnout all the way to Bath Creek Bridge, and there it goes back to wood for the rest of the way. Kind of an oddball thing, you don't see it too much, but it's really cool to capture it in model form and stay true to the prototype. Over at the other end of the layout, I got a little bit further on the Banff station. Kind of ran into a few roadblocks. I got the operator's table built there. You can see right there, that section. It's all 100% to scale based on measurements I actually took of the real thing, and using my 3D drawing that I've got to kind of guide me into how many pieces I need to make and stuff. So I'm almost all the way around. I'm going to keep going, but what's stopping me from going higher is with using photorealistic pictures, I want to get them glued on before I put it all together. Right now it's just mocked up and it's not secured. It's got magnets at the far end, you can see there. So it's just stuck together with like fun tack and magnets, just kind of holding it in place to show what it's going to look like. But I got to get these photorealistic pictures done, and there's a ton of work to do, photoshopping all those, getting them scaled right. You know, some of the ones I have are no good because I was there in the spring when it was snowy and there's snow and ice and stuff. So as it stands right now, I'm gonna have to make another trip to Banff to get some more photos, specifically of the town side of the station, so I can make some realistic photos for this thing. Even the mock-up though is cool. It really kind of gets me stoked to work on it. You know, you see it kind of start to take shape and what the building's gonna look like in the overall picture. And I said it, I don't know, probably 100 times on these layout updates, but the Banff station is a massive building. Like in relation to everything else on this scene, the Banff station is just, it really is going to be the centerpiece of this whole 30-foot section of the layout here. It's so big and it just occupies so much space. So that brings us to the final thing I worked on, and I literally just poured this yesterday, so I haven't even taken the tape off there. I want to leave it for the full curing time. It says in the instructions for this Envirotex Lite, 72 hours to fully cure. So I'm just staying away from it. I'm not going to touch it until at least 72 hours has passed, but it's done. I finally did it. I just mixed it up, and I got to a point where I thought it was ready to go. So really need to pay attention to what the coverage says on the bottle, because I was close to not having enough, and I really kind of had to spread it out. It does really wick to the sides though after it sets for a while, but we'll just take a few close shots here. Keep in mind that it's not fully cured yet, so it's only been, I think, 24 hours that it's been set, so it's still maybe not 100% how it's going to look. So the gloss is really cool. You can see the mountain reflection there, and it really is a high gloss finish, this stuff. I think I will still put some waves on the water eventually. I'll get some of that stuff from Michael's and just paintbrush it on there. But it looks even cool just like still water like this. One thing I learned is that we're having real dirt along the sides there. That really darkened up as it got wet from the resin. So I don't know if that's how it's going to stay or not. Maybe the resin still needs to dry. Because over here was real dirt too, but it was a different color and it kind of didn't do that. So I think we'll see what happens. I might have to add some static grass and stuff along there to kind of hide that dark edge. I don't really like that, but it still looks pretty good. So there's kind of a further shot back showing that you can see the mountain reflection there. That's cool. Just like everybody said, don't even bother trying to paint reflections on the water. That's just silly because it's so glossy it does reflect. So lots of things I learned about this stuff, and I think the next one would be even better, but it's pretty good. And I think once I go along and do some touch-ups along the sides here and we get some bush and trees and stuff, it's just going to blend right in. It's going to look awesome. So that's kind of what it's going to look like with the bridge mocked up in there. There's also the 2-head searchlight signal that's right there. So once you have all that stuff in place and the trees and everything, you're going to get a lot of really cool reflections coming off the river, like a shot of that the bridge reflection along with the searchlight signal. Like that's just going to look killer reflecting, especially when you get some low angle shots. So I'm really excited about how this scene's going to turn out. That'll wrap up this layout update video, guys. So I'm excited that I've got that river scene done now, and I can go ahead and put the bridge back in, relay the track, we'll get trains rolling again. So hopefully be creating some more content now that the layout's up and running again. We'll be running some trains. It's Christmas time. We like to spend a lot of time down here when it's cold and blizzarding outside. Nothing like being in a nice warm basement and running trains with the kids. So that'll be the plan. Sounds like it's going to be pretty quiet with the whole COVID thing and everything. So that sucks, but we're so fortunate to have something like this to keep us busy, and it's something we can do without having to go out in public or go to events and stuff. So that's going to be my plan for the next month. As always, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.